Hello, hi, my name is Zoe, I'm the Tipsy Psychic, and today we're going to talk about the compatibility between a Libra Scorpio Cusp and a Sagittarius. If you don't mind being along for an unpredictable ride, then this is great for you. This is like a thrilling roller coaster ride. It's like that, what is that one? Kingda Ka. That is one of the craziest roller coaster rides I've ever been on at Six Flags. That's what you remind me of, but with more ups and downs, okay? More thrill. You constantly go head to head in many ways. A lot of the time you had no idea that something was going on in the first place, but you often seek out another person in your life to focus on, and somehow that brings you closer together. Don't expect to just sit around and do nothing with the Sagittarius. Being lazy is not in the cards for you. They keep you going and flowing, and you're often honest to a fault. You don't hold back. The truth is super important to you, and you know it, and you usually are way more transparent than your Sagittarius. And they will appreciate that about you because they can be kind of delusional and often have trouble seeing the truth themselves. Just because you're honest doesn't mean that you have to know everything that's going on with your Sagittarius. If they want to open up to you, they will. There's also this tendency to play games with each other, but it can only lead to trouble. Avoid quickies if you want this to last. You need to take things slow and then build them up. Stamina is so important for this couple, so take your time and enjoy the ride. You will find yourself on many escapades and new experiences with your Sagittarius. Your love is a battlefield and there are bombs constantly going off. It's very common that you project your traumas and your insecurities onto each other. This will only drain you in the long run. It's not sustainable on your energy. Your Sagittarius might rush things. You don't usually go at their speed. This can be a problem no matter how ready you are. And you take each other seriously and you respect each other's originality. You march to the rhythm of your own drum. This can feel energizing like a battery. And you both aren't afraid to take on some challenges. You both like to critique each other's way of doing things. You're very opinionated about each other's actions. It's super hard to keep your mouth shut when you're living with each other and to let them do their own thing. There's often this karmic pattern that plays out for you and your Sagittarius where one of you grew up with a parent or family member who withheld their affection or their validation. And this might have left you feeling like you crave validation and praise from others in your life, and I would not be surprised if it were part of your relationship. You both can be unstoppable if you work together. Business and pleasure often actually mix for this couple, especially because it's also unpredictable with them. You need to learn to recognize when a storm is coming in your relationship. There are usually signs when things are about to blow up. It's like whenever there's a storm approaching, my cats go crazy and they get all hyper and run around in circles and do weird things. I feel like you need to look for your cats, your metaphorical cats, and learn to figure out when that storm is happening and when energy and tension is building. You might even be in denial about how you feel when it comes to your Sagittarius. You need to express those feelings and face the truth. You have this enthusiasm that can be contagious to a Sagittarius, but at times it can be too much. You might be more intrigued by them if they're into social justice and change. Don't extinguish that flame, but try to manage it a little better. This is a wild dynamic. And things can get volatile, especially when you both act like you don't care or you're not worried. Don't brush it off. It's not a spider on your sweater, like it's a real thing. Don't just be like, whoops, what's that? No. Because your love can overflow and hit you like a tsunami. I love how we're comparing your relationship to natural disasters. It's super easy to go overboard and take things to the extreme with your Sagittarius. Your Sagittarius is thrilling, and actually not a lot shakes your bond. It's powerful and not much is able to bother you. You overcome a lot together. You adore each other and you love each other so deeply. You don't hold back. Your love is vibrant. You don't really filter what you say around each other. You might cuss or speak your mind. You don't really care about being polite with each other. As friends, you tend to one-up each other. And you're very focused on external factors in your life and less on each other. It might feel like your Sagittarius friend is always too busy to hang out. They always have plans, but it doesn't mean they don't value your friendship. You need to work on maintaining your manners. Just because you're telling the truth doesn't mean you have to be a bitch about it. If you feel like someone is threatening your relationship, then you need to get rid of them. Don't keep them around, even if your Sagittarius wants to. You have to be on the same page about the people in your life. Yeah, you both need to treat each other like equals, but you also need to recognize that you're different people. Just because you won't put up with something doesn't mean that they're the same way. Treat others like you want to be treated doesn't really work for this couple. Like, you can't say that because it's tempting for this couple to use that. For example, you might say, well, if I were in your shoes, then I wouldn't have done that. Or I wouldn't have allowed for that to happen. Or I would have never said that to someone. Or put yourself in my shoes. But the truth is, you both have different boundaries and needs. And while you might be cool with something, your Sagittarius might not be okay with it. So you're not the same people and you can't expect that of each other. Learn what you both require and respect it. For example, in my relationship, my tolerance level is so low. My BF puts up with so much, like so much. I have no idea how he tolerates so much. But my threshold is so different. So sometimes he doesn't really understand when something's wrong because he has such a high tolerance level for things. And I'm like super sensitive, you know? And so when we fight, I'm like, well, I would have never done that, you know? How could you do that? Because, like, why can't you see it from my perspective? But the thing is, he's not me and he is not in my shoes. And while he can have empathy for me, he tolerates and put up with things way more. Like, I like snap, you know? And he's like so chill. Like, I don't know, I'm so lucky because I feel like if I were with someone who had the same tolerance level as me, we would not work out. I feel like the person who's with me like has to be able to put up with a lot, I think, because I'm a little wild. He's my rock. So he doesn't really care as much as I do about certain things and vice versa. And this is a huge deal for this matchup. So learn what you need from each other and then work on it. Even if you don't agree. Your relationship is not as consistent and it can be pretty rocky at times. It's so challenging and it's really easy to get caught up in your own lives. You can both be too busy for each other. Figure out what your Sagittarius wants from you. How do they expect you to act? Like, what is your role in this relationship? You both love to be spontaneous and you get very invested in each other's lives. And this often works out really well when you're both into sports or fitness or you like working out together or going to the gym because you motivate each other. Your Sagittarius won't like how much you notice the little things. You can be critical of them. You are on the cusp of drama and criticism after all. The best way for a Sagittarius to be able to cope with it all is for them to take a lot of space to themselves and recharge. They don't always say what they feel right away and may need some alone time to process those feelings. You can be moody and have some very intense ups and downs. You need to figure out how to manage it. And you need to learn more about your Sagittarius. The best way to do that is to have a blast with them. Avoid committing to too much and getting bogged down by responsibilities and overcommitting. Just chill. Have a laid back time with them. Don't overthink it. In order for this relationship to thrive, you need way less seriousness. It's the glue that keeps it all together. You need to define the relationship and figure out what you are to them. Your Sagittarius will be a breath of fresh fresh air. You feel like you can just be yourself and be very straightforward and open with them. It's refreshing. Your Sagittarius is not someone that's easy to keep up with for you. They go at a faster speed and they deal with twists and turns in their life at a different pace than you, a quicker pace. And it can throw you off and feel unstable. But they can really change the way you see the world for the better. Thank you so much for watching. If you were born on the cusp of Libra and Scorpio or Sagittarius, then please comment below and let me know what you think. Did you agree with this? Did you not agree with this? Do you have any questions? Please comment down below. I would love to hear your stories and your experiences. And please subscribe to my channel. That would be really helpful because it encourages me and helps support me so I can make more content quicker and better for you. Okay, bye.